$121,000 in 1 year. Pretty good, if you ask me.
Oh, fantastic. That's me working my ass off, doing 12-hour days, overtime, and still not even getting that. Like I said, my first property, I got stuck, and obviously being with you guys, I've learned now the rinse and repeat thing, but I've got equity sitting in the commercial property, but I just didn't know what to do with it. I wish I bought a residential property 8 years ago instead of buying a commercial property. I read your book,
Yep.
you know, like you kept saying, you might not get one for a year or two, but you might buy 2 in 3 years, you know, so.
And then what happens is suddenly they change policies out of nowhere. And whenever they change something, I'm always on top of things going, okay, how do we take advantage of this?
And that's why I love these, you know, being part of these beautiful communities.
Okay, James and Steph Vertarakos. This is James and Steph getting their orange belt. This is their first investment here in Bow Desert. 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car. They paid $444,000. Details of the property. They paid a 10% deposit using equity, so really nothing. It settled in May 2025 for $444,000. The current market value today is $565,000. The current profit is $121,000 in 1 year. $121,000 in 1 year, pretty good, if you ask me. That's great. Now what I'll do is I'll talk to James and have a bit of a chat. Hi, James.
George, how are you?
Very good. Yourself?
Yes, good. First of all, Christina's back and Bubs is doing well.
Yep, Christina's back, finally. It was quite the challenge because Christina ended up having a pulmonary embolism.
Oh, jeez.
But anyway, let's talk about you, James. Welcome. When did you join our program?
I think it's coming up to about 3 years now.
Okay, great. So 3 years, you've been with our program for a while now. What I wanted to ask you, how did you decide that property, before we even joined this, how did you decide property was the way? Why did you think property, not shares or Bitcoin or something?
Well, to be honest with you, property's just always resented with me. Shares and stocks, I still don't understand. I'm trying to dabble in it, but property just always made sense. Me and Steph bought a investment property previously coming onto positive property and read Rich Dad, Poor Dad like yourself and, you know, thought I knew everything and went out and bought a commercial property. And look, it's doing well. It's just sitting there stagnant. But obviously being with you guys, I've learned a lot more. I wish I bought a residential property 8 years ago instead of buying a commercial property.
Yep.
Just because of the growth. Like obviously the income of it has paid me well. But in terms of capital growth, not so great. And the typical, I'll buy somewhere I know in Victoria, you know, which is why I started searching for other ways to invest into property. And I came across you guys because obviously with your knowledge and finding, as you always say, there's 15,000 suburbs, finding the top 100 really helps out. Yeah, so we got a little bit stagnant, came on to you guys. Borrowing capacity was a big thing because we just had our second child. That's why it's been 3 years, only our first. But yeah, bought our first, bought one in our self-managed super fund as we speak. So
excellent. You got to beat the deadline, I hope so.
Yeah. So I'm really pushing.
For 2 years, as long as you sign the contract and the developer signs the contract before the deadline, you get to keep it. Otherwise, you don't get it at all. Crazy.
No, that's right. So no, Billy's been on my back a bit because first time doing it. So self-managed super funds, we're waiting for the ATO to get back for it to be set up, but it's looking good. Still got time, so pushing.
Yep. So James, tell me about you and Steph. Where do you live? What do you do? You got a family of 2?
We're in Victoria, Melbourne. I'm a plumber work for a commercial company. The wife hasn't gone back to work just of yet because I'd rather her raise our son than go to childcare. It's not worth it. So I'm working a lot of overtime, pushing it, you know, just trying to get every penny that we can. And yeah, Steph did work in childcare, hence why she's doing well looking after our son.
Okay,
And
okay, yeah, look, I suppose having kids makes you more focused because I know I've worked a lot harder since I had my son. It's funny because everyone goes, it changed you. It does. Because now
it does.
I'm thinking 10 steps ahead. I want to work harder. Like, you know what I mean?
You want to leave them something.
Totally. You know what I mean? It's a gift. It's a beautiful gift and you want to do something.
Definitely.
You know? And I mean, are kids going to be able to afford to buy property in the future? That's the question as well.
No, that's why we're going to do what we're doing.
Yeah, the peak housing in Australia, I think it was 1966 when the most people in Australia owned their own home.
Dude, I wasn't even born.
that was the peak in the whole history of Australia. and it hit that peak of 75%. Now it's going down, and it's going to keep going down again, because
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
happened in most other countries, and we're just following suit, is real estate is becoming a good investment. And because of what's happening in the world, real estate's going to keep going up. A lot of people don't realize that real estate was just so cheap everywhere in the world for a long time, and people just didn't know. And now
yeah,
people realize it's a good investment. All the big companies now are buying real estate, unfortunately, and competing with us.
yeah, yeah.
We've got to get in there a little bit quicker.
Well,
So
it's a
tell me about your
tangible
journey.
asset.
Tell me a little bit about your journey. You joined us, and it took a while. So you worked with your coach for a while, obviously, because
Yep,
this is
yep.
interesting, because you didn't just give up. You didn't say, well, we're not going to get borrowing capacity. See you later. You've been with us for a while, and you got your property. So
Yeah,
what made you stick through it? How did the work go with the team?
it wasn't just like, well, we did stick to it, obviously, but so I was excited signing up with you guys. I really wanted to buy one. Speaking with Charmaine, my coach, and speaking with David from Click. Our first property, we got an EOI. It was out in, can't remember the town now, but it was out in Perth. And I was really excited and spoke to David, and he squished us down. No, you can't buy a 2-part contract. Your borrowing capacity's like maxed out, blah, blah,
Yeah, yeah.
blah. Back to the drawing board. Then Bo Desert came on board. We were actually purchased in stage 1, and then
Yep.
everything was going fine. And the bank hadn't released the money. It was like on the date, say it was a Tuesday, and Billy
Yep.
rang up. She was like really distraught. She said that the builder's going to pull the pin, and my hands were tied. Everything was done. Billy said she'd done everything she could. And literally 2 days later, the money was in the account, but the builder said no. So
God.
picked up the pieces, went back in stage 2, and ended up getting it. And look, here we are, 130K in a year. And yeah, so got to look at the positives, George.
Yeah. How does that feel, making 130,000 in 1 year?
Oh, it's fantastic. That's me working my ass off, doing 12-hour days, overtime, and still not even getting that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, obviously, I'm getting it,
now you've
but
got a
cost of living.
property that's going to slowly build your wealth bit by bit, passively in the
Correct.
background. And now you're getting your second one in superannuation, and you've got your commercials. You've got 3 investments. I mean, you're doing better than most Australians.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear you say that. I don't let myself get too excited. I think I'll keep putting myself down, but I guess that's what drives me to keep pushing more, George.
Yeah, look, most people get stuck at the first property. They do one, and they don't do it right, and they lose money and go, oh, fuck it, we're not doing it anymore. And a lot of people don't stick through it. But the thing is, James, with property, it's just a matter of being persistent, like you have been, and you just keep going, and you get the properties when you can, because once you get caught up in borrowing capacity, time helps you get through it anyway.
Definitely. Well, that was one of the things I took. I read your book like in the first year 2-3 times, and
Yep.
you know, like you kept saying, you just got to be persistent, keep checking, see when the borrowing capacity comes up, and then you might not get one for a year or 2, but you might buy 2 in 3 years. You know, so
Exactly,
just got to keep checking and keep pushing. Yeah.
Yep. And then what happens is suddenly they change policies out of nowhere, and rates go down, or they do something. And whenever they change something, I'm always on top of things going, okay, how do we take advantage of this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And that's why I love these, you know, being part of this beautiful community is constantly learning. And obviously the research you do is phenomenal. I couldn't do it. But yeah, it's just always great to get good feedback, new ideas, and yeah, good.
Excellent, excellent. So what's the best parts of being part of Positive Property?
Well, definitely the community. Like obviously Lake Barley last year, but I went to Adelaide the year before.
Yes, I remember. I met you in Adelaide. I've got a photo of you and your wife.
Yes. And we broke the wood, and yeah, no, it was really good. And the community is fantastic. Obviously, your knowledge is top star. The one thing I do love about you is I obviously looked at a few other programs before coming on Positive, but you know, you just go down to earth. I feel like you're easy to talk to. Even in Adelaide, you went around to every table, spoke to everyone. You're just humble.
Yeah, look, I'm a social person. I love the community, because when I retired, one thing I found is I got bored because I was making money doing nothing. And I did this more as a hobby, and then it became a business, and I love it. I really love the community. And the reason I built a community, because a lot of companies, you don't get to see anyone else, right? You just join the company, they get your property, you don't know what everyone else is doing, you don't know if they've made money or if they haven't. And we're an open community here where you can see what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, that's right. The proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, and I like it that way because it's good for my marketing, but also I just love it. I enjoy the community the most. It's great. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you being part of the community. Just one last question.
No.
If someone was looking at joining Positive Property, what would you say to them?
I'll just do it. Like, what have you got to lose? Because obviously knowledge is power. And like I said, my first property, I got stuck. And obviously being with you guys, I've learned now the rinse and repeat thing. But I've got equity sitting in the commercial property, but I just didn't know what to do with it, you know? And like the way I structured it from rich dad, poor dad, I put it into a trust. And so I actually lost out on the tax benefits on that as well. But look, lesson learned. But yeah, I'll just say, just do it.
Okay, you can actually change that now, by the way.
Pull it out of the trust.
Yes, without paying anything. I'm not sure if it's about the commercial, but yeah, I think you can, yeah. So what's happened
really?
is the government has changed the trust laws, and what they're doing, and obviously I'm not a financial advisor, but I was looking this up because I've got a lot of properties in trust as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to really bite me if I have to pay 30% tax on all these properties in trust because the government has said minimum 30%.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So what they're doing is they're doing a window where you can actually change it to another entity without paying any stamp duty or anything else like that.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Oh, thanks for that. I'll have to look into it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the research and probably present next week and explain it to everyone.
Yeah, awesome.
I wasn't going to present it tonight because I haven't got all the facts and figures, but I was looking at it today because I'm always doing something nerdy in the background, trying to work out whenever there's a new thing in the government, I'm always trying to work out, okay, what's the loophole? What do I do? How do I get through this? Because if I have to pay 30% on all my other property, it's going to be a lot of property. It's going to be a lot of tax.
Yeah, definitely.
The other thing is I've got a commercial property as well, which I bought, which is my worst property.
Oh, one in the same.
I admit it. So it's my worst property and currently untenanted, right? So, you know, the thing is, I worked out how to convert it to residential.
Really?
Yes. So once I convert it, I'm going to add over $1 million on the price, just like that.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to do that when I get back to Adelaide in October. But literally, I reckon I'll add $1 million value because the area is good. It's just it's a commercial property, and commercial properties aren't worth that much. But as a residential, it's worth a fortune.
Yes, definitely.
So I don't know if you can do that with yours, but I'm always like,
mine's a factory, so I don't think so.
You can't house a bunch of immigrants in there, little room.
Look, I probably caught on the hush, but.
Okay, excellent. James, thanks for your time today, man. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. Good chatting to you. Thanks, George.